the speaking animal. Hayawan natiq. Do you see? Because the essence of language is what? Rationality. Language is meaningful. So the essence of the human being is language. And that's why when you judge a person by their color, it's so wrong. Because you're judging them by something that's incidental to their nature. Whereas when you judge them by what they believe, by how they speak, by what they say, whether they're truthful, whether they're virtuous, whether they stand for the truth, that's how human beings should be judged. That's why Dr. King talked about being judged by the content of character. How do you know the content of character? By the essence of the person. What is the essence? Their belief. Because that's what's going to manifest from them. And so that's what he's talking about here. Getting to this essence of the human being. That's what that verse means to me. Anyway, that's what I meant. وَأَيْضًا قَوْلُكَ اللَّهِ. When we say Bismillah, Allah is ismun jamidun. It's a fixed substantive. It doesn't change. It doesn't have a plural, like Allah doesn't have a plural. It's fixed. It's not derived from anything. وَالْأَلِفُ وَاللَّامْ فِيهِ لَازِمَةً. The alif and lam in it are essential to it. You can't take them away. So alif and lam in Arabic are used as an article of definition. Adatu ta'rif. Definitive article, we call it in English grammar. So when you say al-ilah, al there means the. Al-ilah. Allah is a fixed name. It's not derived from al-ilah, according to the dominant opinion. And then he says, وَهُوَ التَّعَبُّدُ قِيلَ لِأَنَّهُ مُشْتَقٌ مِنَ التَّأَلُّهِ. Some say it is derived from ta'alluh, which means a ta'abbud. It relates to worship. وَقِيلَ مِنَ الْوَلَهَانِ. And some say it's derived from walahan, وَهِيَ الْحَيْرَةُ. And that means confused or bewildered. So the essence of the name is bewilderment. لِتَحَيَّرَ الْعُقُولِ فِي شَأْنِهِ. Because intellects become completely bewildered when they begin to think about God. God is so beyond, because the intellect is finite, and the fact that it can understand something about infinity is one of the extraordinary aspects of the intellect. The fact that it can see something beyond what is in the world and also what its own nature is. We can contemplate theoretical infinity, like an infinite set of numbers. An infinite set of numbers. I mean, my 5-year-old years ago, he's 8 now, but my 5-year-old asked me what was the highest number. And I said, there is no highest number because you could always add 1 to it and until infinity. And the next morning he said to me, you're wrong. I said, about what? He said, about the numbers. And I said, why? He said, because there must be a highest number, but only God knows it. And what struck me about that is that even though he was only 5 at the time, he was getting to the root of a theological debate about theoretical infinity and infinity. You know, is there a theoretical infinity or not? I mean, that's actually a debate in philosophy. So the alif and the lam is something that is related to it, and he says that it comes from this word to bewilder the intellects. And then قِيلَ أَصْرُهُ مِنْ غَيْرِ أَلِفٍ وَلَام. And some say that the origin is without the alif lam. In other words, the alif lam are added to it. ثُمَّ حُذِفَتْ الْحَمْزَةُ مِنْ أَوَّلِهِ عَلَى غَيْرِ قِيَاسٍ. And then it was removed, not in any logical way according to the rules of morphology, but some things the Arabs do على غير قياس that don't have any analogical example to it. ثم أدخلت عليه الألف واللام وقيل أصله الإله. Some say it's from al-ilah and then the lam and the alif, so the God. And then the Arabs, they don't like to say things over and over again that are cumbersome. So to say al-ilah is al-ilah, it's cumbersome for them, so they just said Allah. So you get the al-ilah is Allah, so it means the God. It's a way of saying the God. And then he says, ثم حذفت الحمزة ونقلت حركتها إلى اللام كما تنقل إلى الأرض وشبهه فاجتمع اللامان فأدغمت إحداهما في الأخرى وفخم للتعظيم. And then he goes on and talks about the Hamza was removed in that, like al-ilah, ilah, the Hamza. And then it was the movement of it was moved to the lam, so it becomes Allah. So you lose the al-ilah, it becomes Allah. Like al-ard, which is one way of pronouncing al-ard. You don't say al-ard, you say al-ard. And the lam is al-ard. You drop the hamza. So that's what he's saying happened to Allah. فَاجْتَمَعَ اللَّامَانِ So the two lambs were united. فَأُدْغِمَتْ And then assimilated. إِحْدَاهُمَا فِي الْأُخْرَى One in the other. وَفُخِّمَ لِلتَّعْظِيمِ And then we say Allah. You don't say Allah. There's what's called tarqiq and tafkhim, right? In tajweed. So when you say Allah, you don't say Allah. You say Allah. Because the tafkhim is a way the Arabs exalt something. When they, like Khalid, you don't say Khalid. Like modern Arabs, they say Khalid, fain Khalid. Where's Khalid? But ancient Arab, Aina Khalid. You have to do the tafkhim because it's something. Khalid is Kha is a big letter. So the Arabs do that. And if you look at words that have Kha in it, they're always big things. They're not little things. Like Khalid, eternal. Khiyana, treachery. They're big things. So Khalifa, right? The Khalifa. So he's saying that's for ta'zim. إِلَّا إِذَا كَانَ قَبْلُهُ كَسْرَةً Unless you have a kasra before it, the little haraka underneath. So when you say, you don't say Bismillah. You say Bismillah. Because the kasra moves it to tarqiq. All right? And then he says, فَفْهَمْ إِن كُنْتَ مِنْ أَهْلِهَا So understand this if you're from its people. In other words, I just gave you all this grammar. If you don't know what I'm talking about, tough luck. But understand it if you're from the people of this science. If you studied this, understand it. So, and then he goes on, and I'm just, I went into that, and I know some of people, it's like, what's going on here? The point of this is really, this is the level that these people were working on. They were working on very deep levels, and they really wanted to maintain a certain level of scholarship for our community so that these sciences were in the hands of the right people.